What's going on? Lucky here. Just kidding. Welcome back to the IE427 garage, everybody. I do get that from time to time. They say, hey, you look like that guy. And I said, no, he looks like me and I'm better looking. Today we're going to start moving some cars around the shop. I've got to get the prototype out of the car shop and get it moved out into the main shop. I've got to get the dually out first, and then the Mustang has to move, and after the Mustang moves, then of course we can move the Texas prototype Mk4 out of the car shop and put that outside. And then I want to get the Coupe underneath the Mustang on the lift, and then get the Texas Mk4 prototype out here in the main shop, and any last minute details that we have to do on it, we'll do out here. I want to get it out for pictures probably in the next week or so. So I want to get all the cars moved around today. It's just going to be one of those videos where you're just kind of watching me move stuff around, but hey, you know, this is what we do. So hang on, we'll get the cameras rolling and we'll show you us moving around all the cars. I need you to watch this spoiler as I go down the ramps to make sure it don't hit nothing.
Are you going to have to take it off?
Don't know, that's why I'm having you watch. I'm hoping not. I'm hoping to get pictures with it on there.
Want me to just roll you off?
Huh?
Want me to just roll you off?
No, I don't have any control if you roll me off, other than the brakes. I can't roll back on. Then I'll have to start it with the emergency brake on. All right, everybody, much later in the day, we've got the Texas Mk4 prototype here in the main shop. We moved some stuff around. Mrs. IE427 spent some time with me out in the shop. So while I was moving some of the cars and she was helping me, she was also moving some stuff around in the shop. We're continuing to thin out the herd, as they say. We're getting rid of stuff that we just can't see ourselves using. And those are the things that you end up looking for in about 6 months. Saying to yourself, I know we have that, what happened to it? But this is stuff that's been sitting on the shelves for a while. We got rid of a lot of stuff when we moved down here, but there's still more. And we're trying to make room and thin everything out. We've got one more of the boltless racks to move up onto the mezzanine. I've got one up there that's empty, but I've got to disassemble it to get it by all the stuff for the coupe that I've got over there. So a lot of stuff's been going on today, but the main thing is that we got the Texas Mk4 prototype here in the shop, in the main shop anyways, and it's all prettied up. I'm still hesitant to put a car cover on it because it's only been a few months since we got it painted. Really trying to protect that paint from any scratches, so I'm just going to try to keep it clean. And if I can do that, then we'll just be able to use the car duster and some detail spray, every few days or every week just to keep it clean. I would like to get this car out, get the brakes bedded, but it's all going to be weather dependent. It's just not something that I've been able to do since we've got the car kind of finished. And now that it's finished and I feel a little bit more comfortable with it, I'd like to take it out, bed the brakes, and then have it all ready for the customer. Now, if I can't find time to do that, then the customer will have to bed the brakes himself. Not a big deal, but that's the way it is. We've got the speedometer hooked up for the final time now, so once we get it outside and move it around or drive it, we should acquire a satellite signal, and then it'll start registering miles per hour and the odometer. So we'll see what happens. I can't guarantee anything right now because time is just so critical. We've got so much stuff going on, and I've got to get this car prepped and ready to take out to Texas as well. So I don't know how long it's going to be before it actually goes in the trailer and we get slithering back here in the main shop. So we'll see what happens. You can see over here where we had the coupe stored. That area is clear right now. Since it's clear, I'll be able to get some work done. I want to put some lights underneath the mezzanine. So since this is clear, I'm going to go ahead. I'm going to get those lights put in the next couple of days. The coupe will probably come back here in between working on it. I just wanted it kind of out of here to get some stuff kind of organized over here, and then it'll either be here or it'll be in the main shop, or it may be over here. I may stick slithering in here, but we'll see kind of what happens. In the car shop, I have the coupe now sitting underneath the lift, and then you can see the 68 Mustang is up on top. You guys saw us move that earlier today. It was somewhat uneventful. I was worried because we really had a tough time moving this thing when the owner delivered it. And that was primarily because we had to roll and steer it kind of just by kicking the front wheels. So we basically had to kick the front wheel in or out because there's no steering column in the car right now. So the steering rod ends or the steering tie rod ends are all in, so the two wheels are connected, but there's no way to steer the car other than bumping the wheels over so that we can turn it one way or the other. It was a royal pain in the ass. We got it into the shop, but once it got into the shop here, the best way to move it is on the dolly. So I put a set of dollies under the rear wheels. Those are the ones that are kind of stationary. I just jacked up the rear end, threw those underneath. I put the pump jack style dollies on the front. Those things are great, but they do take up quite a bit of room. So if you're looking for a set of dollies, just know that the pump style dollies do take up considerable more room. And the ones we have are hydraulic. They're not mechanical, so they're heavy. But don't really find that I'm carrying them or lifting them a whole lot. I just generally roll them around the shop. But the 68 Mustang is up on the lift. We're going to go ahead and we're going to start looking at what needs to be done on the front. I don't know if I've got new control arms and new bushings in the parts. So I'm hoping to talk to the owner of this car here in the next few days, kind of go over what the build plan is. I noticed that that's a rack, that's a steering rack. It doesn't have the traditional steering box with drag link and all that kind of stuff. So that's new. And compact unit, looks like it's tucked up in there really well. I'm curious to see how that works. I've never done one of those before. But, you know, we've got that going to a modern Ford pump too. So I'm hoping that all of that stuff is kind of engineered into the rack, so we're not going to have any problems with overpressurizing the rack, but we'll see. And then the coupe, you know, the coupe is in here. We're going to start going through kind of the dismantling procedure for the coupe. We do have to pull the seats out. We do have to get the body off. I've got to find a place to store the rear hatch where it's going to be safe and secure. And then we can kind of assess where we're at, because while I don't want to redo anything on this car, I do want to make sure that everything that was done so far, and this isn't a dig at the builder or the owner. I just want to make sure that everything is solid for us to build upon. You know, in the building trades, we always say you always want to make sure that you build on a solid foundation. And that goes with cars too. You got to make sure that everything that you're putting on top of what was already done is sound and installed well. Otherwise, it's going to impact everything down the line. So we want to make sure that all the suspension was installed properly, everything was properly lubricated as it went together, make sure all the bolts were torqued, all that kind of stuff before we start putting more stuff on the car. Because what we don't want to do is we don't want to have to come back to something later when we find out that, you know, if we would have simply checked something, we wouldn't have had to pull as much stuff off in order to go back and fix something later. So that's where we're at with the coupe. I think that's going to do it for this one. Like I said, I know this video is kind of all, you know, everywhere, but this is what happens in the shop. And, you know, if I'm going to set the cameras up and have them rolling, I'm going to show you what I'm doing in the shop. Sometimes it's fun, you know, we'll do a cold start, you know, and we'll drive a car somewhere. But other times it's just kind of knuckling down and moving stuff around the shop. Now, the shop updates, as I said before, we're going to keep those over on the secondary channel. So if you want to see what's going on in the shop as far as the shop updates, go to the Mrs. IE427 channel. All those updates are over there. There's going to be some other stuff that's over there too. Eventually, when Mrs. IE427 has a little bit of time, I think she's going to get a little more involved in that channel. That's why we made the channel. It was for her. So we'll see kind of what she has in store for the channel as kind of time progresses. But I think that's where we're going to leave this one. As always, if you're enjoying the content, even if you thought I was Lucky Costa to begin with, and then we're disappointed that I'm not, go ahead, do the like, the share, the subscribe, all that kind of stuff. We'll see you next time. Have a great day.